Hey everyone, it's Thursday 7th of April 2022. It's Nolan here with an update on some of my favorite charts at the moment. Hope trading's gone well for you this week. One more trading day to go, and we can take a couple of days off. So yeah, silver is a chart we're going to start off with tonight, and it's something I do have a little look at occasionally. Probably last spoke about it with you guys maybe a couple of weeks ago, but it's something which I've got in mind for a long-term picture, really, where I see price coming back into this between 28.5, 29 zone. Okay, there's this big kind of range playing out between support here, resistance. We've got this mid-level here. Now, I can't remember whether I'd spoken to you about silver this month, but I've certainly spoken to you a couple of times about it. One thing I want to notice, this is the monthly chart, and the candle that got produced here, this is basically called an inverted hammer. Okay, and you would look for an inverted hammer candle at support as a potential sign of, an early sign, if you like, of buyers coming into the market. What the candle tells you is, and each candle tells you a story, is that during this month, okay, price opened here. At some point, sellers took price down, buyers took price all the way up here, very close to the big number, even handled 27. Sellers still in the picture, brought price down, and buyers actually, if you like, won the candle because the closed higher than the open. So we actually read this candle as a kind of an early sign of buying momentum coming into the picture. So if you remember my analysis, what I am looking for is, I'm just dropping down into the weekly, is we've had this base here at 22, push up, come back down, tested the base again, we've made a higher high. Now I'm looking for this level here around about 24, where we've got this low here, this low here. I'm looking for price to start to get bullish and make our way up into that top zone up here. So that monthly candle is actually a very nice signal that could be potentially happening. It's been a quite a few days recently just looking at price action here, because what I was hoping for was prices to come to 24 here and then start to impulse to the upside. Now it came to 24, had a very nice entry, and it's an entry which I told you guys before it actually happened. I said, right, I want you to watch 24. Now whether you had a buy limit there, whether you had an alert, different traders, different styles of trading, but I had a buy limit there. I just had a buy limit at 24, stop at 23.5, I think. But it hasn't really gone anywhere, so I've actually closed my trade and banked the money, and now I'm either going to wait for it, and I'm going to set that alert again. Actually, I'm either going to wait for it to come back into 24, depending on what happens first. Come back into 24 looking for a rejection, or have this counter trend line drawn out, because if price can close outside this counter trend line, I think that's a very good sign of the bulls coming into play. What I will notice though is that we've got some resistance here at 25, some false breaks. If I just zoom out a little bit, you can see these false breaks of 25. So think not just a close outside of this CTL, but maybe a daily close above above 25 actually could be a very good sign of that buying momentum coming in. So what I would watch is price at 24, okay, looking for buyers there, or if we can get a daily close, I would say above the 25, then that could be the start of the impulse. Well, the impulse might start at 24, but if you miss that and we can break this CTL, then I think a bullish close above this 25 level here, which is finding resistance. That could be a very, very good sign. So just keep your eyes on it. Nothing really going on at the moment. It's quite a boring chart, so it is just a case of waiting. I'm actually going to put an alert at around about 25 as well, so I've kind of got both bases covered. Yeah, it's a case of waiting. So that is that is one still to keep an eye on, because just looking at price action, this is the impulse, this is the corrective move, expecting another impulse to the upside. So yeah, it's pretty, technically standard stuff, as it were. So yeah, we'll keep our eyes on that anyway. What else? Revisit on CAD Swiss, because this is something I did a video on CAD Swiss, not sure it was last week or the week before, talking about this range, and I'm pretty sure I told you guys that we'd actually got a sell limit just ready and waiting at 74, 76. That actually triggered this week with this candle here, this weekly candle. You can see if I just zoom out a little bit. Where's my where is my my trade? There we go. Look, you can pretty much see if I get my crosshairs, it literally came in by a pip or two and triggered us in, which was great. Now today we actually took half profits on this, because what happened was, price came into this little zone here. Let me just draw it out for you, if I can find the old rectangle. Yeah, see this zone here, you can see this is a weekly support zone. Price came into this zone, and we were about, I can't think it was 1.04 or 1.08% in profit on this trade at the time, earlier on, something like that. Yeah, and I just said to the guys, right, I'm going to bank half on this. I'm just going to move my stop to break even now, because this could easily come all the way back up, take us out, and we can potentially look for another trade there if it does do that. But fingers crossed we start to break through. But worst comes to worst, we've banked some money. If we can break through, guys, just look at this price action here. If I draw this across, you can see this candle here breaks through, pulls back into this zone. So we could potentially expect something similar to happen. So if we do break through, could come into this zone here where we saw support, pull back, retest. You could have limit orders here, sell limit orders, or you could have alerts set here. So there could still be a route into this trade back down to the range support here. Obviously, it could come all the way back up here. Great area to sell, so keep your eyes on that as well. But if it does break through, watch this area here, see if we get support. We might come back up into this zone or towards this zone where you could look for buy limits or price action for sells. But yeah, that is in play. We've got it at risk-free. And yeah, you have a look. Somewhere a week or two ago, I did a video on CAD Swiss. I think it was the actual subject on the thumbnail of the video. So yeah, have a little look at that. Have a little revisit. So that's CAD Swiss and silver. I think we got some. Some CAD news tomorrow, Friday. I think it's the only bit of news. Yeah, bit of CAD unemployment news. Normally we see this on the same day as non-farm payroll, but we saw non-farm payroll last week, and for whatever reason, we've got the CAD news this week. So employment news tomorrow, forecast at 77.5k, and unemployment rate dropping from 5.5 to a forecast 5.4. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, and of course see how the market interprets the data. That news will obviously impact this trade potentially, because it's CAD. So even better to have banked some money on this and put the trade to break even, because you don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, that will affect this pair. Now I know Mark at the beginning of the week talked about pound pairs and how they are. Pound has a good month generally in April. So we are looking for pound strength. Now pound CAD, another market that could be affected tomorrow. Now pound CAD has broken out of this bearish structure, but what I'm noticing at the moment is, well, I mean, you could draw this different ways. You could connect these two lows, and we've broken out. You could connect this low and this low. I'll just show you, and you could be looking at potentially a false break. Now these are called TWEEZER bottoms. Okay, now this is a weekly time frame, so we've still got a day and 2 hours to go. Obviously, we've got tomorrow's price action to happen. But looking at this bottom trend line, TWEEZER bottoms here, that's basically a reversal pattern. So watch for this to go bullish, guys. Of course, it may not, but this pattern is generally a bullish pattern. So especially, if we can break last week's high, that could be a very, very good sign of buyers coming into the market. That would be sellers of CAD, buyers of pound, sellers of CAD, or CAD would be weaker than the pound. So if we do see a weak CAD, then that could also help this trade as well, because CAD short is what we're looking for on this. What we'll be looking for on this is CAD short or CAD weakness as well, and pound strength for this to push up. So this could be an interesting one to look at, and how this weekly candle finishes tomorrow could be very, very interesting. If we get a nice bullish candle at the moment, hammer candle, which is it's a bullish sign. Hammer candles at support are bullish signs, and you would look for a break of the high for confirmation. But just this formation as well, like I say, these tweezer tops, still got a day to go though before the close, but yeah, that's also bullish and potentially at an area of support. So also, you got to look at what's happened previously. We've had a lot of selling momentum from here, 21st of February, some big seller candles. And, this market is just like any other market. There are impulses and corrections. So the actual market sentiment is bearish. We're making lower highs, lower lows, but after an impulse you would expect a correction. This was a correction here, this was a correction here, so expect another correction here. So we've had the impulse, so the idea of actually buying around about this big number 163 as well, it looks good. So just keep your eyes on this pound CAD for longs, see what we get. Obviously the news tomorrow will potentially affect this trade. Talking about pound and the fact that it's generally a bullish month, just quick look at pound USD. To be honest, guys, it's looking really, really boring. So if what we're looking for is for basically very, very similar to pound CAD in a way. We've got this bearish channel making lower highs, lower lows, but looking for that correction back up to the top of the channel. But like I say, price action at the moment, very, very boring. Just zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so what I'm certainly seeing is there's a little bit of a base forming here, as you can see, and there's a little bit of resistance forming here. We've got some false breaks. We've got this support here, so there's a bit of a range in play at the moment. Now you could look to trade that range potentially. Let me just drop down to the hourly and the daily. Just want to have another little look at this. So yeah, there is a range in play. There's also around about 131 of that kind of midpoint here where we're seeing price struggle to break. So what I would say, that if you are going to look for the range play from the bottom here, now that could be, for instance, this morning star pattern. Potentially that trade might have gone there, but I'm just looking at that morning star pattern here, this swing high here, we could come back, retest it. So you could think about buy limits there or an alert there. But what I would say is that, you know, we've certainly got sellers coming in at the moment at 131. So you should be taking off profits in this zone. You know, whether it's half, whether it's 50%, 60%, 70%, whatever, that's personal to you. I like to take 50% off. Some traders take 90% of the trade off and just leave the rest of the trade running. But if you are going to go long, if you're going to trade from the base here, then 131 certainly a place where I would be taking some profits off and then looking for price to come into this zone for your next target. Okay, so there is a range playing out at the moment, but all in all, pound USD, pretty boring chart at the moment. Pound Kiwi is looking very interesting. Weekly, I think I talked about this in our last video actually, because we placed a trade. I think I told you guys what the trade was, and interestingly, the trade triggered. And it's made us money this week. I think it's hit our 2 targets. But yeah, we've got weekly support here, support. Look at this weekly candle, guys. Yes, 1 day to go, but look at it. It's looking pretty nice. This candle is telling me that, yes, sellers were in that market this week, but buyers are bringing price all the way back up. And this is turning into a hammer candle. And remember, guys, I mentioned it a minute or so ago, hammer candle at support is a buy signal, and we would be looking for the break of the high. But yeah, we if I have a little look at the smaller chart, the trade I told you guys about, the one that we took, was a buy limit. This double bottom here, it was a buy limit around this zone. So we had the double bottom and then this bullish candle. We had our buy limit. I forgot what the actual order was, the actual entry price I should say, but yeah, look, price came back, it was a buy limit, triggered us in, boom, gone. And yeah, I was talking about it, price coming into the top of this channel, or you might want to look at it as a falling wedge potentially. Remember, we are at that weekly support and it's broken out of the channel, so keep your eyes on this as well, because this looks pretty good. This might be forming a correction here for upside. Maybe set an alert above this high, because obviously if we're going to see another impulse, then it's going to need to break this high. Yeah, one thing about, you know, impulses and corrections, obviously in an uptrend, when the next impulse begins, the previous swing high gets broken. Well, this is the high, we've got the impulse, potentially a correction. Watch to see if this high breaks. But yeah, that's looking quite interesting. Like, we got in down here, and you know, if you watch the video, I think it was in my video on Monday, and you took the same trade, then you've done really well. You know, and if you've held that trade, then I don't know whether you'd still be in it. I think we're all closed out now. But yeah, it's about 3.21% in profit, and that's just following exactly what we did. But yeah, that could be forming a correction now for upside. Remember the bigger picture, where we are, and you know what the potential is for this trade. Potential big moves on this trade, just looking at how prices reacted off this trend line previously and how high it's gone. So yeah, that's looking quite nice as well. One more chart to look at, and I normally look at this for you guys. I do love the old NASDAQ. Prices come into a very nice level at 14,400 because it was previous support here. Popped into the level as well there. Beautiful impulse. You know, we've talked about this a few weeks ago. I think it was the weekly bullish engulfing candle, engulfing 3 candles. I said, guys, you need to watch this now. This could be the start of the big move. So yeah, we've got a nice bullish reaction off this 14,400 level at the moment. So you know, traders could consider a buy stop above today's daily high. What I would say is that I am seeing some previous support round about here. Okay, can you see that support? Push up, breaks through, and we could see momentum stall there. I really want to see that broken through, but it's about, you know, going into that level. It's not the greatest reward to risk, about half to 1, but I would potentially be watching price around there if you are in the long. If I just go into the 4 hour, it'll make it a bit more clear what I'm looking at. Basically, we've had a high, lower high, a low, lower low. So we've got this, that could be the correction, yeah. One move down, correction, another impulse, and then we could go 1, 2, 3, and then boom, we could go. But that is a swing low, so basically that was support, and what was support can become resistance. So it will be interesting to see what happens around this zone. Okay, there's no guarantees. It just depends on, is this a time where the market buyers start to push this up for the next impulse, or are we still in correction mode? But I gotta admit, guys, looking at the daily, that's a pretty nice candle at a pretty good level. So yeah, if you missed this for any reason, or you don't want to get involved now, then you can see I've got my alert up here. I think I set this actually in one of my last videos, but yeah, this is resistance. We break this high here, potentially that is, I've just said it a couple of minutes ago. Think about impulses and corrections. In an uptrend, you know, we're going to break the last swing high when the next impulse begins. So here's your swing high, expecting that to break when the next impulse begins. So, you know, expecting another move, potentially as long as this one. But like I've said weeks ago, you know, all-time highs would not be out of the norm for indices, because that's what they generally do. They make all-time highs, they just go. So yeah, now if for some reason we do bounce here, maybe come back and break this level, then I mentioned it before, but we could look at 14,000 or this level here and form an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and that would be an ideal place to get long. Obviously, the further it drops, the bigger distance it's got to go upwards, and the more pips, the more points we can make. So yeah, we'll see though. This looks pretty good at the moment, so have a little think about that. Do you want to place a buy stop above this nice bullish candle at support? If you do, cool. Just watch it around 14,800, because it could stop and reverse, it could stall. So as long as you are aware. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. So yeah, silver, CAD Swiss, silver, you know, just watch at 24 or roundabouts 25. CAD Swiss is in play at the moment. Talked about that range. Pound CAD, some nice tweezer bottoms there. Watch what happens with the news tomorrow. Pound dollar, pretty boring, but potential short-term longs here into 131, and then further longs into 131.6. NASDAQ, nice bullish candle off support today, 14,400. So that looks pretty good. Did I miss anything? I feel like I've missed something out. Pound Kiwi. Yeah, Pound Kiwi, we've broken out of structure at the moment, potentially forming a correction there for upside. But even the weekly candle's looking good on this one as well. Still got, like I say, a day to go, but such a nice area to look for buys. You know, this is definitely one you should keep your eye on as well. So Pound Kiwi, Pound CAD looking very, very nice. Pound dollar, okay, but you know, nothing exciting. Yeah, those two, like I say, Pound Kiwi, Pound CAD look really, really nice. Keep your eyes on those. That's it for me, guys. Listen, have a great Friday tomorrow. There won't be a video from us. We don't normally do them on Friday. We do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for you. And yeah, so our next video back on Monday. That's probably going to be with Mark. Listen, guys, please, if you don't mind, like, share, and subscribe. It'd be really, really good. We would really like to get our subscribers up. If you could share the video with like-minded traders, like yourself, you know, people who you think are going to gain from this kind of analysis, please just share the video, let them see it, and hopefully they'll subscribe and like as well. So guys, have a great rest of your week, and I will speak to you next week. Take care. Bye.